Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. Look, if you have a clean or a strong Equifax credit file, I'm going to show you the best 5 banks that you should be going to if you want business credit cards. Now, I'm also going to talk about your Equifax business credit score and why these 3 components actually can determine the amount of money you get in terms of business credit funding with your Equifax file. All right, so why don't I explain to you about your Equifax business credit file first? Okay, so with your Equifax business credit file, now the first one, that goes into 3 components. All right, so those 3 components, the first one is your business payment index. Okay, now understanding this, your business payment index, if you're familiar with your Dun & Bradstreet paydex score, it's similar to that, like a score rating or whatever, similar to a paydex score. But the thing about it, you have to understand with Equifax business, okay, they're going to report your loans, your business credit cards, your UCCs, your tax liens, and your judgments. All right? So that's what they're calculating. Okay, and so it's very important that you understand this, especially if you want more business credit funding using your Equifax file. Okay, now that being said, like I said, your business pay index, it goes from 1 to 100. All right, now you want to try to, if you can get it, know how everybody focuses on an 80 paydex score? Well, if you can keep your pay index up to about 90, 70, you're in the danger zone. But if you can keep it up to 90, and I'll tell you how to actually do that, it'll help you get more funding. All right, and the way that you actually do that, know how if you have a business credit card that reports to Equifax, making sure that you're not only just paying it once a month. If you can pay it bi-weekly on your credit card, this helps your business index score. That helps your business index score. So that's the first component of your Equifax business credit file. Now, the second component is your business risk. All right. Now, your business risk. Remember I talked about NAICS codes, all right? So we're going to talk about the 5 banks that you should be going to, but you need to understand this if you want more funding, business credit funding. Now, with your business risk, they're calculating that type of business industry you're in. So you know, say that you want to start a trucking company, right? And I tell you, well, trucking company under transportation is high risk, all right? Or you want to try to get into real estate investing. Real estate investing, again, is another high risk NAICS code, all right? Or say that you want to do investments, have the term investments in your business. Well, again, it's a high risk NAICS code. All right, and so those risks are actually calculated. Those numbers are not there just for nothing. Those numbers are actually calculated, and it actually determines the amount of funding you get. Now, with your business risk score, goes from 101 to 992. Okay, so with your business risk score is going from 101 to 992, you want to try to get it about a 700. About a 700 is where you want to be. So that means that those high-risk businesses, you need to find an alternative NAICS code, okay? And with that alternative NAICS code, that should lower your risk, okay? Because you're trying to get business credit funding, All right, and if I'm explaining this and if you guys have been enjoying my video, put a comment below. Let me know, hey, Houston, you're doing pretty good. I appreciate the information. Let me know. Give me some feedback, okay? It helps the algorithm, but I actually want to know, are you all accepting this information and enjoying it? That being said, the third component of the Equifax business credit file is the business failure, okay? Now, with the business failure, this is how many times have you been late making payments? How many times have you defaulted on a loan? How many times you missed again, credit card type of payments and stuff? That's calculated into your failure risk, right? So the numbers for your failure risk go from 1001 up to 18, I think it's 1880. Sorry guys, 1880. So your mid number you want to get to is about a 1350 or somewhere in between there, all right? And again, these three numbers is what calculates whether a financial institution wants to give you larger amounts of money. Most people never ever heard of this stuff. It's never been explained. It's out there, but most people are not really aware of it. And because you all support me and stuff, I want to continue sharing information like this because I know it's beneficial to you. Now, let's talk about those banks, all right? Now, the top 5 Equifax business credit cards and the banks you want to approach, all right? The first one is Citizens Bank, okay? Now with Citizens Bank, you are going to be looking at I think it's a FICO 8. Sometimes they may look at your FICO 9, but most of the time it's your FICO 8, and again, it's an Equifax. All right. Now your average credit score for most of these credit cards, all right, the average credit score, I would say, so that you can be safe, I would say you want to be between 670 and up. All right. Now it depends on the financial institution because you may have a lower credit score, but because you've been with the bank and you've been banking with them and you have a business account with them, and that's another thing, they may be open to giving you a business credit card even though you have a credit score lower than a 670. All right. If this has happened to any of you all using your Equifax credit file, put a comment below. Let me know about some of these banks and what do you think about some of these banks, all right? Now, you have Citizen Bank, then you have Fifth Third Bank. Now, with Fifth Third Bank, again, you're talking about a FICO 8 Equifax, all right? Then, your next bank is Truist. Now with Truist, again, you can do pre-approval with Truist, all right, which is very good if you're able to do a pre-approval to see if you actually qualify before getting a hard inquiry. I think with some of these other financial institutions that I'll be discussing, they may have a pre-approval process as well, okay? Then you have Huntington, FICO 8. Now the banks that I'm talking about, yes, they are FICO 8. I think there's maybe one on the list that's not a FICO 8, and I'm going to tell you about it in a minute. But at the same time, if you don't know what your real FICO 8 scores is, because like with American Express, Chase, Capital One, they're not giving you your FICO scores. They're giving you Vantage scores, okay? And because they're giving you Vantage scores, those numbers may be skewed some. So they're not as accurate because they do not pull from those scores. They actually are pulling from your FICO score. So if you need to actually get your FICO score, click the link in the description and get your real credit score. If you need one-on-one consultation to go over it, to explain it to you, again, set up a one-on-one consultation as well. Now, the last bank that I'm going to address, DCU. Okay? Now everybody's familiar with Digital Credit Union. Now here's the thing about it. They are Equifax 5. So this is a mortgage score. Okay, so that's the reason you need to know it's a Equifax FICO 5, excuse me, so you understand, but it's your mortgage score that they're using. All right, so if you want to actually get more funding, you need to know what your actual Equifax credit score is. Now also adding to that, depends on your inquiries as well, because some of these banks, they may be inquiry sensitive. I always tell you the rule of thumb is between 6 and 8 inquiries per bureau. Okay, so if you have 8 inquiries, I would probably try to find financial institutions to do a pre-approval before I go after any of these business credit cards. Another thing that you may want to do if to garner to going after these cards is maybe opening up a business checking account. Now, I know Truist reports to Small Business Financial Exchange. Okay, it's one of the business credit bureaus. I think it's one of the most important ones. I think their system most important because not only it's sharing information with Small Business Financial Exchange, okay? But they Small Business Financial Exchange shares it with DMB and Experian, okay? So this here bank is definitely one of those banks you want to take into consideration. Now again, if you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, click the link in the description and schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.